Hey guys, this is Rocking3 bringing another commentary Forza 5, and I'm going to be running through this setup that I want to show you guys, and I have a couple goals. So one, I just want to show you that I started with I think it's an Eagle Talon. It's a very mid-level D class car, and I made it a C class car. So this is the C class time attack against the Bernese Alps. And I just want to show you that I set a baseline here, 930th, 1.41, so I'm like 7 seconds off the leader with the Honda S2000. Now, I'm not sure, I didn't really go through here to see how many Eagle Talons were in here, but that's not the point of this. So what I want to show you is there is a Fear Dog calculator out there from Forza 3 and Forza 4 that you can apply to Forza 5, and it gives you a really good baseline. I just want to show you real quick the car that I was using, and I want to show you the setup. And this is going to be off of the tuning calculator that I found online that was based off of Fear Dog's calculations. So you can see it's an Eagle Talon C500 class. And what I do, because the Fear Dog calculator gives you all of the handling numbers that you need, and I won't go through I'll go through all this real quick. But I bought the race of everything here. I believe I took all the weight off too. Go through the parts here. Race everything there. And I did the heaviest rims, the thinnest, the most upgraded thin tires, low profile tires. And I did the full width. And I think the tire is the only thing that I did not do. So I have room here. I didn't go to the full one here. But what I did is I did upgrade. I have the front spoiler, the rear spoiler, and just to show you the numbers here across the board. So this is going to be really close of what the Fear Dog calculator would give you. So it's going to be pretty middle of the road, easy to drive. See all the settings there. Everything's a lot softer, so it's a lot easier to drive. I lowered it all the way down to 5.2 because I know I can get down to about 4.5 on most cars on these tracks, so I'm not too worried about that. This is their setup. This is the middle of the road downforce on cornering and speed. That alone right there would probably gain me a few seconds on that track, but again, not the point that I want to show you guys. We're going to do a lot more adjustments from there. Differential, this is probably one thing. They would actually show you 50-50. I always lower that just because it makes it a lot easier to drive. So wanted to show you that piece, show you basically what the middle of the road is going to be. And then I want to show you and give you some comments on the track itself. So I may be able to better my time a little bit. I didn't really put too many laps down. I put about, I think, 3 or 4, maybe even 5. But again, this is that track, leaderboard 930. So this is basically the baseline piece that I want to show you. It's a good car. It handles really well. It's easy to drive. There's a few downsides to it. And because I've done all of the handling parts, unfortunately I don't have enough power to the car itself to actually get better lap times. So a lot of these tracks are pretty big, the turns are pretty wide, and you have plenty of time to speed your car up and make it handle a little bit less. Sometimes less is going to be a little bit more in this one. In this case, I need more speed because I can hit these turns at full speed and still make those turns. But I'm going to show you here. I'm going to do 2 laps on this because you're going to see the ghost that I race against here real quick. I did adjust the gearing a little bit. I think I'm pretty close to maxing it out in 3rd gear, in 6th gear down the hill on this particular map. And if you can hear, the tires are squealing a little bit. So again, that's because they're really soft. And that's that kind of that middle of the road, easy to drive, doesn't understeer a whole bunch, doesn't oversteer very much at all. So I'm just flat out, I mean, you can see my gas pedal over here, and I can straighten it out in a lot of these turns, so I just don't have enough speed. We'll do a max speed test here real quick too, and we'll have to remember that for later. I'll put that into the comments below. So 149, we could probably get 150 out of that if we tried. Downshift a couple there. And again, I'm flat out in these turns. So I can brake a little bit later if I wanted to, but This is just, like I said, real easy to drive. You can do 141s after 141s. But again, that's just under the 1,000 mark. That's not our goal here. Our goal is to get into the top 500, get into the top 200, get into the top 100. Now, we probably won't get into the really high numbers because this is an Eagle Talon. And in the C class, it's not necessarily made to be like the Honda S2000. That thing is just, wickedly fast. And you won't compete against that kind of car. It's just easier to set up, just faster overall. So we're going to see if we can put down a lap time, maybe even a little bit better than the 141. But again, this car is really easy to drive. I can be really consistent with it. And that wasn't good driving right there myself, but we'll go ahead and shift that and see if we can get some momentum going here and catch this ghost. So my point to this whole thing is to show you that, yes, we can make some very easy, drivable cars. This is not going to work well for your career. This is not going to work well for your multiplayer. Even private, you put other cars on the track and you're just not fast enough to pass anybody. You can catch them in the turns, but again, you can't do much with it after that. So I'm going to brake a little bit later there and back into it full. As you can see, we're beating the ghost. And I can be pretty consistent. Like, this will probably be right at the 141 mark again. But the way you make really good multiplayer and make really good career mode, because you have to race other cars, is to have a car that's faster in the straightaways and not quite as good in the corners. And I think what I'm showing you here is that this car has so much handling to it, so much braking to it, that we could give up some of that. Get some more speed, get some more acceleration. And in this series, what I want to show you guys is a couple different parts. One, I wanted to show you guys what I can do with the C-Class all-wheel drive car that's not necessarily an OP car. And then I want to show you what I can do so if I take this up another level to the B-Class. And you'll see some key factors later that I think is going to be really, really important for everybody to see. It's something that wasn't necessarily a big practice before, but I'll talk about it later. I'm not going to hint to it now. I'm going to keep that as a surprise later. So I'm looking at probably a 4-part series, 2 with this Eagle Talon in the C-Class, and then 2 with it into the B-Class. I think I said C-Class first. So 2 C-Classes and 1 B-Class videos. So as you see, I'm just right on it again. I'm just under 141. And I'm making up some speed here, or some time here, because I'm braking a little bit later. Keeping speed going through the corners a little bit. That one's actually going to bring me down a little bit, but that's okay. Just trying to prove my point that I can pretty much run 141s all day long. And then when we get done here, we'll look at the leaderboard. And again, it's going to be probably right at the 900 mark. So nothing very impressive overall. There's definitely a lot more cars that are a lot faster. But I think even with this Eagle Talon, we could crack the 500. We might be able to crack about 200. So we'll see if we can get that goal in there. And I'll show you the differences in the parts that I buy at this class, what I give up, what performance parts I put on. And then I'll show you the differences between the times that I get. And I won't be able to race against the same ghost like as myself, but we'll race, obviously the one in front of us. And I'll show you the differences between how it handles and how we accelerate. And I pretty much was right at 141 again there. So I just want to go through this, show you what place I'm in. We'll get a little baseline here going, and then I'm going to go back to work on getting this C-Class Eagle Talon to go faster and handle less, because like I said, I can give up some of that handling, and we can see how we end up. I'm excited to see how far up the leaderboard we can get on this particular track. Alright, just want to check the leaderboard real quick. I guess we got into the 800s there, so we're 804. But again, we're still 5.5 seconds off the leader there. We're going to try to get that a little bit closer as we go forward. Thanks a lot for listening, guys, and look for my part 2 on this one, and we'll see how much we can improve it. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. Later.